I don't even know why we're here.
We're here because of the pod. Obviously, we do it. We do it for our fan. We do it for our fan. Come on.
We shouldn't have any fans that really love Alkaline Trio.
Half of our fans just get up and leave.
I know, probably. Welcome back to Asinine Radio, a weekly podcast where we talk about music, and, well, that's pretty much it. So, let's go!
This is Asinine Radio. This is the weekly music podcast where we get into a different album from a different band every week, and we break it down. We do all the research. We find out all the little secrets about the album that we're doing, and we let everybody know because that's what we do, and we try to have a good time doing it. My name is Tyler. Way out there, hundreds of miles away, way out there in the ether is Jeff. Go to any podcast app, Apple Podcasts, Podcast Addict, whatever you use. Rate, review, and subscribe to the podcast on there. Please do that. That would be the best thing you could do. Also, go follow us on social media at Asinine Radio. And I think that's all I got for intros because we like to keep them short and sweet.
Tight.
So I have nothing synced up. Cool. I'm so prepared.
Sick. It's because all those ballads you listen to mushed up your brain.
It is.
Mashed
all right,
potato
Jeff, brains.
What
album are we doing today?
Alkaline Trio's From Here to Infirmary.
Now, Jeff, what is your origin story with Alkaline Trio? What do you got? Go. Sick. Okay, your mic's probably off, but okay.
Oh yeah, it is off. I just turned it on right now. You were quick on that comeback right there, though. That was good.
Got to do it to him.
I started talking too, as if like I was talking to somebody, and then when you started talking, I got really annoyed because I had not unmuted my mic. You know, I got annoyed. N-O-I-D, annoyed.
Annoyed.
Yeah, so I had a lot of counselors at camp that listened to Alkaline Trio. So, you know, being the impressionable youth that I was like, okay, tight, dude. Like, I'll listen to Alkaline Trio too, and I'll be dope. And so From Here to Infirmary was the first one that I listened to. And I listened to this like right around when we started high school. And I was just kind of like, okay, this is fine. This isn't really great, but it's okay. And I remember thinking that it was just okay. So whatever. Fast forward like again to when we were graduating, Crimson, listening to that one, and I thought like again, like this is okay, but I still like this one a lot. But I think I was just psyched for graduate high school, and then listening to it again in the summer, I was just pretty much done. Like I was done with Alkaline Trio for so long because they're just not that great. And then when Skeebs joined the Blinks, and then their newest album came out. Is this thing cursed? That's is cursed.
Everything is cursed.
I was kind of like, you know, maybe I had not given Alkaline Trio a fair shake. I will listen to them again. And so I listened to that one, and then I listened to From Here to Infirmary again. And while I will say that From Here to Infirmary did get better, I still think this band is wildly overrated, and Is This Thing Cursed is just not that great. And then most of their albums, I think, are mediocre at best. This band, dude, this band is just so overhyped, and they don't even do. Maybe they're kind of like the first ones to blend like the emo lyrics with the more upbeat, pop punkish, but still keep the darker tones. But they were definitely not the best at it. So that's where I'm at.
All right. My first impressions with this one, or my origin story with this band is I vaguely remember hearing a couple songs back in high school, not being impressed whatsoever. I had a couple friends who really liked them, and they would try to show me some of the songs, and I didn't get it. I didn't care. I thought it was boring, plain old people. And it wasn't until like, I think it was like 2009, or it was like 2009. And I started hanging out with some new people in in our friend group, and two of the guys, their favorite band was Alkaline Trio, and they're like, oh, you got to try at least this album, and that was From Here to Infirmary. So really, like the first time I ever really sat down and listened to them was in 2009. And I really enjoyed From Here to the Infirmary. I thought there was some absolute fucking beyond bangers on this record. Actually, there's 2 beyond bangers on this one, with a few extra bangers. And then I just kind of like forgot about it. I'm just like, okay, it's not enough to make me want to go back and listen to anything else. So I never did. And then, after Skeebs joined the Blinks, like you said, I was interested to listen to Is This Thing Cursed? And at the time, I just didn't really, I thought it was whatever. I still think it's whatever, except for Blackbird, absolute banger of a song. But yeah, they've never really been my thing. And I agree with you. I think they are very overrated. But I think they have some good stuff. They really do have some good stuff. But overall, a fucking overrated band. I don't get some of it. Maybe lyrically, like they have some cool lyrics and the metaphors they use and this and that, but outside of that, I just musically, vocally, just not
right.
really my thing. Not really my thing.
This could be a short one then.
No, because I mean the bangers that are bangers, they're really, the beyond bangers are just, they're good. They're really good. So let's get into the first impressions, I guess, on this one. Our initial thoughts on this record. What do you got?
This is
or
better.
Do you have any stinkers? What do you think?
I don't have any stinkers. No, I don't have like a ton of bangers. I think I have like 5 bangers. 3.
That's fair.
Well, maybe 4 bangers. I think I have 4 bangers.
I got 5. I got 5 bangers.
I got 4 bangers, but one of them was really close to being a banger. But it was an A/B. It was an almost banger. But this was better than I thought it was going to be. I thought this whole listen through was going to be just absolutely awful. And luckily, God damn it, opened everything up, and I was pleasantly surprised, and I was happy. So it wasn't like an awful listen through for all of these. It was just it just solidified that I think this band is dude, they're so whatevers. They made some really good albums, but those albums don't really like my 2 favorite albums, Goddamn and This Addiction. I think those are fantastic, but they don't even really like that. Those albums don't showcase why people like this band.
No, you're right.
From Here to Infirmary is a good album, and that really showcases why people like this band. So, given that, you have 2 beyond bangers. What are your beyond bangers?
So it's. I mean, I guess I might as well tell you my 1 and 2B, and those are Private Eye. Private Eye is their best song, through and through. Best song. You cannot. They've never done anything better than this song.
Wow.
And then the second song is Stupid Kid.
Stupid
that
Kid.
Is, yeah, those are the 2 beyond bangers on this record. And then the next 3 are just, they're normal bangers. Bangers. I don't have any stinkers, but there are 2 songs. Actually, the last 2 songs really are the ones that are teetering on the edge of being a stinker, because they're unnecessary. They don't need to be on that record. They could have done a 10-song record and it would have been perfectly fine.
I mean, just like real quick, because I don't want to talk about them too much, but Trucks and Trains, forgettable. I was definitely not interested in that whatsoever. I do like Crawl. I do like the idea of ending on a dance song. It makes the band seem more like a band rather than like a Skeebs project, which, I mean, like Skeebs is besides Blink, he's not like the extremely most successful member, but that's kind of how I've always viewed Alkaline Trio, is just like the Skeebs project. And I never even realized how much Dan sings. Like that was overall, that was really surprising to me.
I was surprised by that too. I didn't know that until maybe a few years ago when I was listening to the Blink 155 pod, and Sam on that pod, he's a huge Alkaline Trio fan, and Josiah of course always makes fun of him for that. But I remember him saying that he how much he liked the Dan songs and how he liked his singing so much. And then I looked into it and I'm like, oh shit, he has at least like 3 songs on every record. I had no idea he was a singer or he sang. Yeah. I always thought it was Skeebs.
Yeah, so I like the idea of ending the album on a Dan song. I think that's cool. That's a cool flex. I get it.
Yeah,
it's just the song's not that good.
The song's not bad. Lyrically, The song Crawl, I like the lyrics on it. I like the metaphors he uses between, like, you know, alcohol, being an alcoholic, and then, you know, he kind of compares it to the girl, and like I kind of like I actually like the lyrics on that one, but the music is just, it's just so meh.
Yeah.
Just it doesn't go anywhere. Just like Trucks and Trains. There's nothing. They're both very mid-tempo type songs, and they're not super catchy, and it's a lot of the same for those two. Easily could have just cut those out of the record, and it would have been totally fine.
Yeah,
but
I would agree with that.
But yeah, so should we? What do we want to talk about? Do we want to talk about the song we already played?
Well, yeah, we gotta get into Private. That is my number 1B on this album good. Too. Private Eye. It's good. It's a song that I haven't playlisted until like this week, and I don't know why, because it is really good, and it's a fucking killer. Like everything about it is absolutely perfect, and like my favorite line, not because it's good, just because of how kind of deeper it is from this album. I think like the line where he says his sixth sense, like in the chorus part. I think that's like the coolest thing he's ever written. It's so rad. Not only is it just like really good alliteration, but it also sounds so much like he's saying 666, which is so dark and emo and fucking stupid, cheesy child punk. Like it's so fucking fitting, but it's so subtle. He's not like shoving it in your face. It's so cheesy, but it's just, he pulls it off so well.
It works well with his voice. Like he can present it well with his vocals, because he doesn't his vocals, when he sings, he doesn't have like a cheesy singing voice. Like if you were to hear fucking, I don't know, Mark Hoppus sing it, because they kind of have like kind of similar vocal like ranges. Like hearing Mark Hoppus say that, it would just be so cheesy. Yeah. But knowing that it's Skiba and he has that melancholy sound to his voice, it's okay. It totally works.
Did you get the 666 thing though when he says that?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Because I read like a bunch of different, like several reviews, and like nobody like ever really brought that up. And
what do you mean?
Like the 6 senses, like that sounds like he's saying 666, and that's got to be intentional. But
it has to be. Oh yeah, totally.
Nobody really brought it up. Like he's saying, like it sounds like he's saying 666 here, and that's like, dude, like the first fucking track on this album, that's got to be intentional, and that's what all these little goth emo kids love.
Yeah, and also kind of knowing Skiba. Well, I don't know him personally, obviously, not yet. That sounds fucking weird. Yeah, but what is wrong with me? It's late. But he was like, he was very much into Satanism and Anton LaVey, and he was like an honorary member of the Church of Satan. So it's like, it kind of goes along with, you know, his beliefs or him trying to be different, you know. So it's not like outrageous for him to say that. It's very much in theme for his character, or his person, I guess you could say.
Yeah, so good.
But it's a great song.
I like, so like, first of all, there's perfect palm mutes here. There's PPMs, right? Solid pop punk drumming, heavy bass strumming, and I like how Flume Lee always has these loud cymbals in his parts.
He does, yeah.
And I think those really just are like the icing on the little cake, because this song is it's like dark pop punk.
Yeah, I get. Yeah, that's a good way. Or emo pop punk. I mean, like
this song specifically is a perfect. Like if somebody says, "What is Alkaline Trio about?" you could give them this song, and like this is exactly what they are about. Unfortunately, their discography isn't nearly this good, but this is what they're about.
Not at all. Not at all. And I think another reason why, I mean, I guess I'll just bring it up now, but another reason why I feel like this band is so overrated is because there's like no lead guitar, there's no riff, there's nothing that really catches your attention. It's just, there's nothing like the catchiest thing might be the vocal melody during a chorus. Yeah. Outside of that, like musically, you're never really going to hear anything super lead based coming from Skiba. He's through and through a rhythm guitar player.
Yeah.
And it's just,
for sure.
He's never been anything more than a rhythm guitar player. And unfortunately, I mean, that's kind of, I like some of the stuff he's done with Blink, but that's really what kind of has killed Blink over their last 2 records, is that he's a rhythm player. He's never, like, Tom is a lead guitar player, and he relies on Mark to do all the rhythm parts. And so it's just like bringing Skiba in, it's just, you're kind of getting all the same thing. There's nothing super interesting in Blink when Skiba's in the band.
Yeah, I still,
at least guitar wise.
Still just don't fucking understand. It makes no sense, but
yeah, I don't get it.
You're right. Like what Alkaline Trio lacks most is melody. They don't have like a lot of melody. Even like Private Eye, it's very bouncy. It's very staccato. It almost borders on just not even being like melodic. Mm-hmm. It's almost there. But a lot of the other songs they don't have a melody, and they're driven by like rhythm. And he's not like a great rhythm guitarist either. Like he's no like fucking Malcolm Young. He's not creating these amazing songs rhythmically that are super catchy and you can latch on to those things. It's a lot of the same 3 power chord song structures that we've heard a million times that Blink relied on for so many years. But they had Tom to overdub it and make some fucking rad, high part.
Yeah, just have a lead. Have any sort of lead guitar, even if it's subtle. Like you gotta have some sort of riff. Like I've noticed in Alkaline Trio, there's no like true guitar riff. It's all fucking downstrokes. Whether or not he's palm muting it or not, it's all downstrokes. That's all he does. And they're not like super fast, so it's not like exciting. Yeah. It's just da-na-na-na-na-na-na. It's all like it's almost like the same tempo in a lot of the songs. So you're just getting the same 3 to 4 chords, just all downstrokes. I don't know. It's a little too much. It's not bad because it's still like, it's something just to kind of have on in the background sometimes. That's kind of what I noticed with this band while I was listening to it this week. It was nice to have in the background because you didn't have to think too much when you're listening to it because it was a lot of the same. It was just super complicated. Nothing really jumped out at me. But Private Eye is an absolute banger.
Yeah.
Getting back to that. It's an absolute banger. Even though it is so simple, it's a wait.
See, even that's not a fucking catchy melody.
But it's only like 3 notes. He does the higher parts, and then he goes into that I don't even know what he hits, but the lower part, like on the 6th string, and it's so simple.
It is like all of the songs are very, very simple, and I just don't get why people like this fucking band.
Yeah. And I mean, we're obviously going to be talking about Blink more, but I can understand why Skiba had a hard time learning Tom's parts. It totally makes way more sense now that I listen to Alkaline Trio, because in the beginning, even Skiba said in interviews, like he would always say like, Tom's parts, I don't know how to play like that. I didn't learn to play guitar like that. He said he had to relearn how to play guitar just to play the Blink songs.
Yeah, because Tom
and now makes
Tom
perfect
is
sense.
Tom is sloppy. Like Tom has perfected
So
his own
fast.
personal sloppiness, but Tom is fucking sloppy. Like you hear it in a lot of the lead, like maybe arguably like the most sloppy fucking difficult thing to play. But like online songs, like that is. Like,
oh yeah,
that's why they don't fucking never played it. It's too difficult, and Tom couldn't do it, and it like theoretically it just sounds fucking like shit. It shouldn't it shouldn't exist. It shouldn't make sense.
but it does for some reason.
Because Tom's doing Tom. Tom is doing Tom.
Or even throwing it back to Carousel, that song, his lead part in the beginning of that song, it's super sloppy. It's very sloppy. He's barely holding it together with Mark and Scott on that song, but he somehow does it. Like he barely holds it together, and it's great. It's really great. And so Skiba has a hard time with it, unfortunately. But
I mean, it's just, I mean, honestly, like I've never heard anything Skeebs do that like made me think, oh, he's actually a really good guitarist. Like there's a lot of times where we have these pods and we think like, holy shit, I never knew like that drummer is that fucking good. Wow. But Skeebs, there was nothing at all.
There on this record, there was only one member who I thought impressed me more than I thought, and that was the drummer.
Mike Filumley.
he had some great drum parts, some really great fills, and just little nuances to his playing that I mean, he was, to me, he was, I wouldn't say he was the best part, but he was the part that impressed me the most with this one.
Yeah, he's
really
definitely the most talented of them. Because even if you listen to like when the stuff that he did with like the Smoking Popes are also a very basic band on the surface, but they do have a lot of weird like chord changes and a lot of like weird open chords that Josh will use, much like Chris Carrabba would. But like Mike Falloon is just he's just a really good drummer, and he does a lot of really cool stuff. And then he did that Life in the Rock Room.
Yeah,
and
he
like,
did. Yeah,
that YouTube video series and plays drums occasionally with random bands that will come in and he'll jam with them and stuff. And he keeps up with everybody.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It is pretty cool. And kind of bringing it back to Private Eye too. I didn't know this until this week when I was reading more about it, but so Mike left the band right after they finished recording the record, and then they brought in Adam Willard to fill in on the drums, but he only ever toured with him, and he was in one music video, and the music video was the one for Private Eye. It's essentially just like a live video, just put to the song. It's stupid, but I had no idea Adam Willard played with Alkaline Trio. No fucking idea. That's crazy. And then not only that, all these connections. So obviously Adam Willard played with Angels and Airwaves, and then he played with Alkaline Trio. He also played with The Offspring, and then Pete Parada, who also has been in The Offspring for the last like 14 years, also played with Alkaline Trio. Like all these bands are so interconnected. It's wild. It's bizarre. The music world, the music industry is so small, but nobody thinks about it.
It's I don't know, man. It's kind of weird. Like a lot of these, like Adam Willard is kind of like a glorified session musician.
Yeah.
And that's not like a knock at all, but that's kind of like what he is. And I mean, Josh Freese is like the most glorified session musician. And it's like these guys just make a fucking killing just doing like minimal work. And I love it so much. It's so cool. Like that has got to be the dream, is to be a session musician. Like, why would you want to be a rock star when you can make as much money and do half of the work being just a session musician or a touring drummer? Oh, it's good.
But then also when you think about it, you know, Adam Willard and Josh Freese have both played with like successful bands. You know, Adam Willard, you know, he kind of started with Rocket from the Crypt, like a classic kind of cult band. People love that fucking band.
They're good.
And that was his start. And then Angels and Airwaves, for what it's worth, you know, they had a lot of success, and he did 4 records with them. And then he goes on to Against Me. He's done their last 2 or 3 records.
Yeah.
And you know, I mean, he's been successful not just as a studio musician, but also as being a full-time member, much like Josh Freese too. Like he's been with Devo since 1992 or something like that. He's never recorded anything with them, but he's literally been with them for that long. The Vandals he's been with for over 30 years. You know, it's just, at least those two guys have made careers outside of their session work, which is really cool. Like Josh Freese with A Perfect Circle as well. Those first 2 records, I don't like them, but those 2 records were huge from A Perfect Circle. People love that band.
Session musicianship is where it's at. That's the takeaway.
It is, yes. So what do you got lyrically on Private Eye?
I think this is about making excuses to push people away because you're addicted to the bottle, like finding reasons to not have friends so you can just go home and drink. It's kind of the vibe I'm getting here.
See, my thoughts on this one are very different. I think it's like him being in a relationship and being very paranoid, and then constantly like watching what his significant other or even like a friend is doing constantly, and then just kind of accusing them of things even though they're not doing anything wrong, and then that person ends up just leaving them because they're just so out of their mind and paranoid. Then that's kind of what I got from this song.
I mean, that's like the start of where I think, but I think it ends at the bottle. I think you find reasons.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, we've been in relationships where like you just find faults in somebody because you just don't want to fucking do it anymore. So you find reasons, and that's like the Private Eye thing is like, I'm looking for reasons to hate you, but it's like, I don't really hate you. It's just, I don't want to be here anymore because I want to just go home and drink. and be replenish my addiction.
I can see that, and considering what I've read about Skiba too is that he has had issues with drugs and alcohol over the years. So I mean that would kind of go along with that, right?
I think a lot of these songs are about addiction and things like that.
Or at least you can make the comparison between, alcohol or drug abuse you can compare that to relationships. So
yeah,
I think they do a really good job of that actually. I was surprised by a lot of these lyrics.
Lyrics were better than I thought they was going to be. They weren't they didn't blow me away, but they were definitely better than I thought they were going to be. Kind
of seems like a lot of people love the lyrics more than anything with this band.
Well, you have to, because there's fucking no meat on those instrumental bones. There's nothing there.
It's like listening to Elliott Smith. It's just like
exactly.
You're not really listening to him for his music. You're listening to him for his lyrics.
Yep.
That's kind of how I viewed this week, because there's nothing super extraordinary I feel about it. I don't know. It's more about the feeling and kind of, I hate using the word, but the vibe of it all.
The vibage.
Mixed with the lyrics. I feel like that's where it really is with this band. So, and we're such new lyric men, so
but it's
hard for us to relate,
because okay, so this band from the late 90s, but again, they're not the only band to do darker lyrics with more upbeat music, and they're not even the best at it. I mean, tons of bands I can think of. The fucking Death Cab started in the late 90s. Dashboard was right around 2000. Fucking Taking Back Sunday was 2002-ish. But even My Chemical Romance was early, and they still did the same thing. So that's why I'm saying love them or hate them, My Chemical Romance still did the darker lyrics with the more upbeat music, much like Alkaline Trio did.
Yeah, they were catchier. Some of their songs were catchier, but then it's that. But see, with My Chemical Romance, it's that musical theater thing that the drama kid sound that I fucking hate.
Yeah.
So that's what really just kills that band for me.
Even the Used, man. The Used are so much better than this band. I'm not even a big Used fan.
Oh yeah, they're totally better.
But it's just dude, the Alkaline Trio. I hate to harp on this band so much, but fuck, they are so overrated.
They are.
God, it's so irritating. And even as I just go through my bangers here, it's just I was trying so hard to pick things out that I thought were really good and stuff. And do I even really like this? On a subsequent listens, would I really think it's as good? I don't know. Whatever. What's your other Beyond banger? You're Dead. I think
bringing it back to the Used real quick, just very very briefly. My 2 records shipped out yesterday.
Oh, did they?
Vinyl records. Yes, they finally shipped out yesterday.
Sigh of relief.
So yes, I know. So I have the tracking number. But they're coming from Pennsylvania, so we'll see how fast they get here. So literally, almost the farthest you can be from where I'm at in California.
Yeah.
So that kind of sucks. But anyway, just wanted to throw that out there because vinyl right now sucks.
Well, you've been waiting so patiently too.
I have months and months and months. Sick variants though, 500 of each. Only 500 pressed of each of those. So what was your 2B? I'm sorry.
Oh God! Another Innocent Girl, Dan song, baby, girl. Dan song.
Yeah, this is not a banger for me. This one is not a banger for me. So what did you like about it? Is it just because of Dan or what?
So the cool bass line under Dan singing, I already like that melody. I think it has a little more depth than some of the other songs. It's got the faster, happier parts, while the verses are reserved for a more ballady type approach. With Skeeves throwing out some lead high parts, which is great. Yeah. But overall, I think the song is just well thought out and structured. And it would make sense that, it's a Dan song and we get a really cool bass line going on here.
Of course.
But the lyrics too, and this is probably my favorite song on this album lyrically. And what I'm getting out of this is just this, it's a sad, cyclical relationship shit fest. Mm-hmm. He's been hurt bad before, so he's going to be a douche to all the girls he dates. And I love this line is so good. I was my inner 15-year-old emo pop punk kid came out, and I was just oh wow, bro, that's so tight. But that's not the line when he says walks with a glass cane. Dude, that is fucking rad. It is a perfect representation of this song and its meaning. Someone who is hurt but who's trying to be careful at the same time, but also at the same time is just so incredibly fragile. Like that imagery is unbelievable stuff.
Yeah, I like that. That one really stuck out to me too, and it makes sense. Like I agree with you on the, kind of like not abusive relationship, like how that's cyclical, but it just just mentally or emotionally unstable relationships that this guy has. But I relate that more to his narcissism rather than anything else, because like he knows what he's getting himself into. Like he's like, it's not something like he's very aware of how he is, but he continues to do the same thing over and over again, and like his shittiness over and over again. So I feel like it's more of a narcissistic thing rather than just straight up like depression or just like ignorance. So I feel like it's more, I don't know, it's more intentional, like what he's doing, which kind of it's more fucked up. But
it's like when people say, don't hate, the boy or girl, or don't hate the way I treat women or men, hate the woman or man who made me like this.
Yeah.
Like it's that type of sentiment that I feel this song is
because
about.
I mean, that's true. But then it's like, at what point, like, do you take responsibility for your actions? Like, you can only blame somebody else for so long. Like, you can't, I don't know.
I think, like, especially with the relationships, because they are so, like, every relationship is so different. And even every day in a relationship is so different. It can sometimes be difficult to make those decisions. So you could be doing something subconsciously, little by little by little, and then over the course of a year, all the small things add up into a big thing. I was trying to be serious, and I threw that out and totally, like, diminished everything I was saying. But I couldn't help it.
That was really bad. That was stupid.
But you got it.
I did, of course. Especially when you tried to actually sing it.
Yeah.
But should we play a little bit of Another Innocent Girl?
Yeah, just because I think like the first 20 seconds is pretty boss.
Okay, so here's Another Innocent Girl from the Alkaline Trios. There you go, Another Innocent Girl from Alkaline Trio. Dude, his voice, I can't get into Dan's voice. It's very pop punk.
You know who he sounds like a lot?
Who?
He sounds like fucking Mike Herrera when Mike Herrera is singing.
Oh, yes.
Dude, he sounds like Mike Herrera a lot.
Yes, you're right. I don't remember what album it was. It might have been the one after this. Wait, what the fuck record is after this?
Crimson?
No, the one before Crimson. Fuck, what is the record after this? Anyway, I was listening to that one, and there were moments on that one that he reminded me of Panic at the Disco. His vocals did. Reminded me of Brendan Urie. And I thought it was really gross. I hated it. Fucking hated it. Because I can't stand Panic at the Disco. They're like drama kid theater, like, to the extreme. Oh God, I hate it.
That
so
album's
much.
good though. It's so frantic. It is so frantic. It's fucking insane.
Wait, what's frantic? The Panic?
Yeah,
oh.
Yeah.
Oh no, it's terrible.
What?
Fucking terrible.
No, dude. That album's pretty. That Fever You Can't Sweat Out. That album's pretty damn good.
I was forced to listen to that record so many times, and at Tower Records we had to listen to that record only because like before like 6 o'clock we had to play certain CDs, and that was one of them. And nobody who worked there wanted to play that CD. Like everybody dreaded it. And it was terrible. That's
because you were a bunch of cool guys. You thought they were way too cool.
And then after we were allowed to stop playing it, I remember one guy went over and just like broke the CD in half and just like broke it into pieces. Yeah,
it's pretty good.
It's not a good record. Anyway, Another Innocent Girl. Do we have anything else on this one, or what do you think?
No, that's all I got.
So that was your number 2. That's wild.
Love it.
That's wild. So my number 2 is Stupid Kid, the second best song on this record. Second best Alkaline Trio song, I should say.
That intro is fucking Blink. Like that's straight up Blink.
No, you know.
Yeah, that intro is.
I don't
fucking
think
Blink.
so.
It's so Blink. It's so Blink. It's not even funny. That's why
No,
you like
I
it.
really don't. I don't see that. I don't see that at all.
You should, because it is. Like, these guys clearly listened to Blink or like, oh, tight, we should do something like that too.
Or they toured with Blink because they were friends.
And then they tried to do it, and it came out like stupid. So, I mean,
It
Stupid Kid is my
doesn't sound
4B.
like it at all.
Yeah, it does. It
Well,
totally does.
I don't that the quick low and then the high chord progression right there.
How do you
the
not
higher chord
like? How the
progression?
fuck do you not think that? I mean, you should just play it, then we can argue about it after. I mean, that's
You
that
really?
way. That way, people can argue with us.
Oh my god. Okay, here's Stupid Kid from Alkaline Trio. There you go, Stupid Kid from Alkaline Trio. I don't hear the Blink at all.
So you got to understand, this is not a band that can do Blink, but
Yeah.
if
this
Blink
isn't
was
even-
doing that song, Tom would be palm muting and throwing out high parts and then doo 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 doo, but like this. This is a song where they're trying to replicate Blink, but they suck at it. That is it.
Oh no. Even then, I really tried. The only thing I could think of that could have sounded like Blink at this time would have been in the verses like dun it, and just kind of like the starting and stopping of the guitar, and then Skiba singing over it. Like that would be like the closest I could even closest connection.
Especially
I could even make.
being like one of the most pop punk things they've done up until now. Like their first album is like
Yeah.
nothing pop punk whatsoever. But I mean, this is right around like the Toy Page era, and so Blink has
Yeah.
already been, Enema's already come out, and then like Tom's starting to fuck around with some of these high
Toy
parts
Patch should come out already too.
with palm muting under it, and that's what this song is. But he can't do it. So instead of doing the he just says
Maybe.
because
Okay.
he
Okay.
sucks.
I kind of see what you're saying now.
Yeah, I mean, it's okay. So
The-
it's
the
not
way-
like
the way you broke
exactly
it-
like Blink.
yeah,
It's
I
just,
know.
yeah, you're right.
The way you broke it down, that makes way more sense now.
It's a guy who's trying to
yeah.
replicate like the sound that he likes Tom doing, but he just can't fucking do it. And so
It's like he's playing the rhythm part to Tom's lead part in a pop
Yeah.
punk song off of Toy Patch.
yeah,
That's
like
what
if-
he's doing.
Yeah, if this was a Blink song, that part would be the rhythm part, and Tom would throw some cool like palm mute and picking over it.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Okay. I'm totally in line with you now. I totally understand what you're saying now.
But he just
I don't
can't
do that
it.
often. I don't do that often. I don't agree with you like that, or I don't switch sides that often. But that was a good point. A good point you made.
Because all your ideas are fucking trash, and you think
Well, they're
like,
not.
You're like a balladman now for some reason. I don't
I'm
understand that. It
I'm
scares me.
Clearly,
for like
clearly, this is not a
the
ballad.
next like picks that we're doing.
POD.
The PODs.
what? The PODs.
Don't add
No,
that.
we're not doing POD. Ooh.
No. We're getting off track here.
Ooh. Okay.
Stupid Kid's good. This is my 4B. I think this is. I don't think the vocal melody is super strong, but there's enough there, and the band throws out like all of the good pop punk tricks, and so I
Mhm.
think that's what makes the song really work. It's childish sounding, but it's full of energy,
is.
and it matches the lyrics very well. And I think it's really good.
There are also parts in the verses where Dan throws in like a weird bass note, just a weird thing, just like it kind of like bends the note, but it doesn't go in line with anything else. It's like a nice little like flair to everything else in the song, which I thought was really rad. But and then also like kind of the way in the chorus when it was I was just a stupid kid back then, that is so pop punk, the way he lets the notes ring out with every like kind of word right there.
Yeah.
It was really good. It was very good and very pop punk.
Yeah, like that.
great.
That is some iconic stuff. Like Yellow Card made a fucking career off of doing stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so,
Yeah.
given that this is Yellow Card started getting big around this time, but like it's just I don't know. I understand why people like this band. I just don't understand why people love this band.
They're a filler band. They're a band to kind of, like I said earlier, they're kind of a band that's good to throw on kind of in the background. Just you don't have to pay attention to it. You're enjoying it. You're just enjoying it.
Yeah.
That's kind of how I feel about it. But what do you got lyrically on this one?
I thought this was a song about the singer being hurtful after getting hurt. Like the chorus is childish and representative of like the current mental state of the narrators, immature, insecure, just being a dick because someone was a dick to them.
And I agree with you there, but I feel like also it's him saying, because in the chorus he said, I was just a stupid kid back then. So it's him it's kind of his immaturity saying like, I was a stupid kid back then, but now I'm smarter. Now I'm more mature now. But when in actuality, he's not. Like he just says he is just to make himself feel better, but he's still the same. He's still the same person. And it's just going to be like a cycle of just him getting hurt because he's not maturing. That's kind of what I get from it.
Yeah, I took that. I was just a stupid kid back then. For him, just not even owning up to his mistakes, saying like, "Yeah, I was just a stupid kid back then. Don't worry about it. I've grown up now." Well, it's like, well, you still did what you did, but you can't deny that. So yeah, but I was, it's in the past. It's like, well, no, you still need to address those problems.
Yeah, but that's not. I don't feel like that's the case in this song.
Overall, I think it's just a lot of immaturity getting through in the song.
Yeah, and a lot of parts of this record too. They were younger. You can kind of see that in some of the lyrics too. Still good though. Still great. So yeah, that's my number 2, Stupid Kid. So then what's your 3B?
Armageddon. Let's Armageddon on, baby.
Stupid. That's my 5B.
Okay.
So what do you got about this one?
Fast punk intro. Go. Right? It's fun.
Yeah. Never lets up. It really never lets up.
And fucking, like, this song. Like, this is a popular song by them, and I fucking totally forgot about this song. Was it? Yeah. Did you ever play Tony Hawk's?
Oh, it was on one of the Tony Hawk games, like Underground.
Like Pro Skater 4 or like one of the side projects or something like that.
Yeah, I think it was Tony Hawk Underground.
Yeah, it was Tony Hawk's Underground.
Yeah.
Was it? I mean, it was. No, it was Tony Hawk's Underground. It was Tony Hawk's Underground. Yeah. But no, dude, I totally forgot about this song, and this was like a nice treat for me, and I listened to it and I was like, oh fuck yeah. Because I knew it, of course, and I was getting into it. And I was like, "Oh, this is so rad!" But even like the song itself is really good. But I did have like one critique that I thought would make this song fucking maybe even like top banger. But when they're singing like the Armageddon part, they need a backup Armageddon after the Armageddon. Like you need an offset harm there because he eventually does scream Armageddon. But that's later. You need like a normal Armageddon, and then right after that, you need Skeebs like coming and screaming Armageddon. That would be so fucking cool.
That would be good, but then it could very well, dip into the realm of like John Feldman, because remember how like Skiba does that on that Blink record on California, and it sounds really bad. Like it could go either way. Really,
dude. I just thought that was like a lost opportunity, and Skeebs. He has a decent screaming voice to where it's meaningful. It's not just screaming to scream. There's some kind of like meaning behind. There's emotion behind it. He's a very emotional dude. So there's definitely emotion behind his screaming, even though his screaming isn't great. But I like his screaming because it's unique to him, because it's not that good and there's a lot of emotion behind it. So damn, I really wish there was some screaming Armageddons there.
And with this song too, there is a part that I thought was really great, and it was at the end. It was during the outro, the last chorus. They kind of change it up a little bit, and he sings louder. He sings a bit more rough, and just there's a bit more grit in his voice. And I feel like that was a great way to end the song because, like I said earlier, the song never lets up. It's like going, and then to end it that way is really good. And I would also kind of like, I feel like the chorus is on, like, the melody in the chorus is like on the verge of being cheesy, but it barely holds it there. And then kind of that I guess that contrast between that kind of cheesy chorus and then that very gritty outro, I thought was really, really good. There was a lot of I feels like there's a lot of layers to this song, more so than you would think, considering it's like the fastest song on the record. Yeah, but there's more going on here than I feel almost every song on this record.
You're right. And then there's other parts where it's just like Skeeb singing and then ringing out his guitar chords. Yeah. And it's like the fastest song, but then he still can slow it down. The pace keeps going, and instead of like hitting those 16th notes, he's just hitting that one, letting it ring out, and then jumping right back into it. And it's just those little subtle, like, nuanced things. I think that can make this band really, really good. They just never get better.
Yeah, they rarely ever use the little tricks. You know, they got to use the tricks more and like expand on those. Like they haven't really evolved much in their sound. Like maybe added more pop punk elements, like on the My Shame Is True. And like they did a good job of combining like the old and new style, like I was saying on the last episode. But yeah, they just do a lot of the same shit, and they rarely ever evolve. It's a shame.
Yeah,
Shame.
that's really true. This band doesn't evolve for better or worse. Like I would even be okay if they took on a new approach and it's like it sucked, but at least like it was something. And
it's not like a band like Bad Religion, who have literally done everything, like everything's been the same, but it's like consistently catches your attention. Like you're always intrigued by it. But there's a lot of moments with Alkaline Trio where I don't feel that way.
Yeah. I'm not getting.
What do you got on the lyrics on this one?
This one's a little confusing for me. I don't know if I even I was I don't know. I thought it was just like knowing something is coming to an end, like the Armageddon is coming, and you're either scared or you don't want it to happen or you're in denial of it. Because towards the end, like the whole like the bridge we sink part, we sink.
Mm-hmm.
Like I didn't understand if I may be even totally wrong, but it was like I don't know, man. Like is the relationship coming to an end and we both don't want it to happen? Because there are times in this album where he's singing about a relationship ending, but you get the feeling like somebody's just moving away. So just by proximity alone, the relationship has to end. But this seems like two people maybe don't want it to end, but then they both know it's going to end. I don't know.
Yeah, and they're both unhappy. I was confused with this one as well, and my thing on this one was that this is them knowing that they're going to break up, especially him, and he's kind of like come to terms with it, but he wants that like one last like moment of intimacy or that one last moment of being together before it actually ends. And that's kind of what I get here. Like that last moment before the death of the relationship, and the death of the relationship is Armageddon. So you have that last moment of like bliss before everything dies.
Okay.
That's kind of what I got with there.
That makes sense. Like that one last hurrah.
Yeah. That one was a little bit confusing for me as well. There were a couple songs on this record where lyrically I just didn't really know what to think, and this is definitely one of them. So,
yeah.
All right, so Armageddon was your 4B, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And that's all the bangers you have, right?
Yeah, because Stupid Kid was my 4B. Armageddon was my 3B.
Oh, that was your 3B. Okay, so we haven't done my 3B yet.
Right.
Okay, so mine is Take Lots with Alcohol. Was that their third song? No, yeah, third song. Take Lots with Alcohol. That it was the drum intro. It got me, much like a lot of this record. The drums got me, and then it goes into this like straight up pop punk song. It was really cool, and then I was kind of confused whether or not it was Skiba or Dan singing, because it really could be Skiba doing like gritty vocals, but then it doesn't sound like Dan. It's weird.
I think it's Dan because strictly based off of like the wiki. And it mentioned something about like, oh, Dan takes lead vocals, and then listed a bunch of songs. This was listed next to Dan, but with no citation or anything. So
okay, then that makes sense. So this is
that for what it's worth.
Surprisingly, I like this song, and he did a really good job vocally on it. Because, like I said, I'm not a big fan of Dan's vocals, but no, this one was a good pop punk song. I was very, very surprised. Yeah, it was good. I don't know. Should I play a little bit of it? Do you want to talk about how you feel about it, or what?
Whatever you want to do, kid. I can talk about it. Whatever you want to do.
What do you think about it? What do you think about it?
I think it's fantastic. I have two songs that so like this is almost a banger, and then I have another song, my 5B, but this was almost a banger. I don't even know why. I have no negative notes on it, so I don't know why I didn't put it as a banger. But
I don't know either.
I do like the drum intro. I think it's fucking cool, and it's weird because that's not something that like Alkaline Trio does. They don't show off a lot.
No.
And so putting the drum intro in there was weird, but it transitioned so damn well and became so bouncy and fun. But then like this song is dressed up to be super fun and bouncy, but it's so dark and like theme. And the contrast
definitely.
is just, it's perfect. It's perfect contrast on this one. And
But
that palm mute part, dude, the palm mute, oh,
it's really
so
good. It's really good.
It's so good.
But then a lot of bands also do the whole contrast of the up tempo song with depressing lyrics.
Yeah, My Chemical Romance, sure.
Yeah, it's a very no,
there's a lot of bands that do
common
it.
thing.
Like Under Oath does it. My Chemical Romance, fucking Dashboard, Death Cab.
No, but their music's more depressing. It's not like peppy and stuff like that.
Not transatlanticism. There's
I
a lot of peppy stuff on there.
I guess. All right, I'm gonna play a little bit of a taste or Take Lots with Alcohol. So here we go from Alkaline Trio. There it is, Take Lots with Alcohol from the Alkaline Trios.
Lots.
It's not even like the catchiest chorus or anything like that, but it's
the instrumental
it's
melody. The instrumental melody is stronger than the vocal melody.
Yeah, and it's such it's such an easy like riff that it's just that it's so simple. It's very, very simple, except for the drumming. The drumming's the only like complicated part about this song. It works though. It works really well. And hearing Dan sing almost like out of his vocal range it's good. I thought it sounded really good, and it's the best thing he's done on this record, vocally at least. It's good. It's good stuff.
Yeah, I would agree with that too.
So what do you have lyrically on this one?
This was kind of unique because this was the only song that were like given a script, kind of. Mm-hmm. Like it was a script style lyrical delivery. Like there's a setting, there's characters, there's dialogue on this one. It's not just like inner thoughts. There's like you're following something. Mm-hmm. And I thought this was about him, or the narrator, singer, not knowing how to handle his feelings. He feels like he's been cut up or emotionally kicked around and doesn't even know what it's like to feel normal again. And I think that kind of goes along the lines of living your life like it's scripted, going through the motions, doing things, saying things that you don't even know why you're doing it, because it feels almost like you're just supposed to just do it, and there's no emotion left.
I think I took my lyrics more at face value on this one, because I understand what you're saying, but I viewed it also like he's just a wildly depressed person. He knows that nothing is going to really make him feel better except for medicating himself, whether that be self-medication or medication through a doctor. Like he just wants to feel nothing. He wants to feel numbness. He's contemplated suicide, but he's not ready to do that, or he's too afraid to do that. So he just wants to be completely numb to everything. So he's kind of like reaching out kind of in a way to just say like, just make me a zombie. Just make me not feel anything. Don't like get rid of the hurt and the sadness. That's kind of what I got with this one.
Okay.
It's good. It's a great song. It really is a great song. And I've noticed too the Dan songs lyrically, I kind of like his lyrics better than Skiba's. I feel like they're deeper, they're more sentimental, and some of the wordplay and metaphors I feel at times are better than Skiba's.
Yeah, there's just more there.
Yeah,
yeah. I agree.
He really puts himself, his personal life or his personal feelings out on the line way more so than I feel Skiba does, or at least like his deeper feelings, I guess you could say. But yeah. It's lyrically, I think it sends a strong message, that's for sure, and I think it's great. I think it's really great. So, that was my 3B, and your 4B was Stupid Kid, right?
Stupid Kid.
Okay, and then my 4B was Steamer Trunk. Or is it Truck? Trunk? I don't fucking know.
I put Trunk.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
It is good. With this one, this is like a much more upbeat song, especially in the intro and chorus. It kind of double times in the chorus, which is cool. Some really subtle harms, which they don't do very often, like we've talked about in the chorus. And it's catchy, and that bridge, I don't know if you wrote anything about that bridge in this song, but
where it picks up.
It picks up, but it is so Blink from Toy Pash. It almost sounds like they lifted like the worst bridge from that song and put it in this song. It seems like it was very much inspired by that record, which was cool. I enjoyed that one. But do you have anything else on this one, or do you even want to play it? Like
this is not. I mean, we can play if you want to play it. This is not one of my bangers. I like the way Skeeb sings in this one. I like the way he picks up the pace. I think that's well enough. There's some cool bass lines and some cool bass fills, but overall, I thought it was okay.
Okay, that's fair.
That's all right.
That's fair. I mean, we don't have to play it or anything, but I thought it was probably the most closely, prior to doing this episode, I feel like this is the closest thing to Blink that they did on this record. And then after you brought up that stupid kid stuff, that makes perfect sense. I totally am on board with that. So, so that's my number 4. Lyrically though, this one was kind of dark. It actually was very dark. It was kind of him being with somebody who had been molested or traumatized, like sexually traumatized growing up, and it was his feelings on how he should react to her feelings and how he should treat her, and his own conflicted mind with it all. And it was an interesting viewpoint because it's normally like, let's just show sympathy for the person who's gone through that, or it's like an autobiographical thing, like the person being traumatized themselves, like the narrator being traumatized. But in this instance, it was somebody who is completely taken out of that and is involved with somebody who has been molested. And I thought it was really interesting, a very interesting viewpoint on a horrible situation like that.
Yeah, I also think like what made this lyrically really good was him. Like he didn't know how to deal with it. He didn't know how to act around the person. He didn't know if he was supposed to act nicer or whatever, or overly nice, or he didn't know how to act around the person, and thus treating the person differently. But then he knew he was doing it, and so I think that's that's got to be a very common thing that everybody goes through when dealing with people who have gone through trauma. Yeah. Like, how do we deal with these things? And that's not like a fault or anything. It's just we don't talk about it enough to know how to deal with it. And this is like 2001, man. So this is pretty, what do you call it? This is ahead of its time a little bit.
It was
him talking about this,
because I feel like people at this time were less likely to talk about things like this, or like traumatic experiences that they had. Like a lot of people at the time, it seems, kind of, put it out of their mind, and they kind of just were moving on with their life to an extent. Like nowadays, everybody talks about everything in their life, which can be a very good thing. But I feel like nowadays it's become very much more commonplace for people to express or to talk about traumatic experiences like this. But back then, it was almost taboo. I don't know. That's why I just think it's such an interesting song, hearing it from this point of view. I thought that was really interesting. Because you don't know how to react to shit like this, especially if you've never experienced it yourself. It's hard. It's very difficult. So I thought that was interesting. Like
that point of view is just never talked about, and it's just very interesting. Like we don't when songs are dealing with somebody who was in a relationship with somebody else who's been abused, it's always very sympathetic, and that's pretty much it. It's never like, I don't know what the fuck I'm supposed to do. Mm-hmm. Like that never comes up. I can't even think of a time, like even still today, where anybody does a song where they don't know how to deal with somebody. It's always sympathetic.
Yeah. And normally, and in some cases you would kind of fault the narrator in this, saying like, well, you should be sympathetic. But then he doesn't present it in a way like, let's feel bad for me. He presents it in a way like, I just don't know what to do. And it's just out of pure, just like, almost like confusion, and just, it's a form of sadness, but it's not like woe is me. It's not selfish. It's just, I don't know what to do. And so you feel bad for the narrator almost as much as you do for the person who's been traumatized, because neither know how to react. It's very conflicting. I don't know.
And you're right. Like he's not doing it for you to feel bad for him, because there's like one of the lines, he says, "My short-term memory is gone, but my long-term's far from dead." Mm-hmm. I took that to mean like we don't have to talk about this all the time because I don't really want to talk about it because I don't know how to even approach this.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to forget. I am here. I'm not going to forget what happened. So when you're ready to talk about it, we can, but we just don't have to do it right now.
That's a good interpretation of that line. That was good. That was a good one.
And it's just like this was a really well written lyric song, and I was really kind of like blown away by how honest this was. Like this is incredibly honest.
Very, very vulnerable too, and very just putting it all out there. This is one of my favorite songs lyrically on this record because it is so different. And like we were saying, we're not really lyric men, but I've never really come across a song that's from this kind of viewpoint. It's very interesting.
True. I can't think of one.
Yeah. And then on top of that, this is another one of the songs where the song itself is faster, it's upbeat, it's poppier, it's more pop punk. And then we have like some of the most like conflicting kind of sad lyrics on the entire record. So it's just that contrast once again that kind of gets you on this one. But this song's really good. I think I may even bump this up because now I'm just like reading my notes, and I did write a lot of notes in the lyrics, and just the whole idea of this, like the trunk, right? Yeah.
Like he says your secrets are locked away in my trunk. Like being in a position where somebody trusts you enough to give you their darkest secrets, and I'm assuming that the person who was hurt is telling Skeebs this in confidence, like maybe they've never told anybody before, but they feel comfortable enough with Skeebs, and Skeebs knows that. Like he knows, like, holy fuck, this person's never told anybody except for me. Like that's a lot of weight on my shoulders too. But it's never presented like that. It's always sympathetic, but also confused, and it's so human. It's so human. It's never ever talked about, even today.
That's true. Yeah, totally right. Damn,
Skeebs.
This is good. Should I play a little bit of Steamer Trunk?
We gotta play it now.
Okay. I know, after all that. So here it is from the Alkaline Trios. All right, there you go. Steamer Trunk from Alkaline Trio. I had to play it a little bit longer because I wanted to get to that bridge where it's so Blink. It's so fucking Blink. I love it. I love it to death. But that's a great song. Musically, lyrically, it's really good. Really, really good. Definitely a banger on this one. So that's what I got for this. We talked about my 5B. That was Armageddon. I think we talked about your 5B already too, right?
You're Dead was the other one.
Oh, was that
was
it?
like
Okay. Yeah, that wasn't a B for me.
You're Dead. That's not reminding me of Plus 44 too. Like some of the delivery, and if you just kind of technoed up the drums a bit, like that guitar part reminded me a lot of Plus 44.
I can see that with the drums because like in Plus 44, Travis plays a much slower, heavier sound than he ever did. Even on Boxcar Racer, he didn't really play like that dark heaviness like he did on Plus 44, but that's how this song is to me. Like this is the heaviest thing that they did on this record.
And that guitar tone, I don't know, like the Plus 44 guitar tone, like you hear in Lycanthrope, and like that, it's almost like annoying. It's like it grates on you. That guitar tone, it's here too. Yeah.
And also, even like Dan, he does this like weird little thing on the bass during the verses too. That it's just like another little like nuance that he adds to his bass line that I thought was pretty cool in the verse.
Yeah.
But I honestly, my favorite part of this song was the drums because they're just so heavy and they add so much depth to the song itself. I think it was killer. And then considering what the song lyrically is about, or at least I think it's about, it's a dark song, and it's like Skiba questioning his religion and what he believes in spiritually, and like him pretty much saying like why do the good people die and the shitty assholes are still around causing more mayhem and havoc. Why in a just universe, why is that happening? Like I don't know. I thought that. I mean, it's almost like kind of high school because that's kind of like how everybody is when they start discovering like, oh, there's stuff outside of what we were taught growing up in religion, and then you start questioning everything. Like that, it's kind of high school and kind of adolescent, but it makes sense.
This is growing up.
Yeah, just like in Blink song, damn it. I guess this is.
I guess you see it growing up.
That's
That's
a great riff right there. That is a riff.
That is a riff.
So what do you got on this one? On Your Dead?
Oh no, that was it. Yeah, it's about someone not being in your life anymore, and like everything is just crashing down. Your whole world is crumbling, and kid stuff, I guess.
I wouldn't say kid stuff. It's just
kid stuff.
It's like not a coming of age. I don't know what it is. It's like the beginning of you questioning, life. This is what kind of everybody goes through when they start questioning what happens after death or what happened or like what's really important in life. You begin to question like why do these certain things happen when everything is supposed to be good, and I don't know. It's a young person thing. And then you just realize everything's fucked.
It's a young man's game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do we should I play Your Dead?
Nah, whatever. It's fine. It's fine.
You sure?
Yeah.
Okay.
We've already played all the good ones. We've already played all the good ones.
No, I agree.
Let's not end it on like a non-high note.
True. We played quite a few more songs than I thought we would play. But anyway,
Yeah.
I thought we were gonna play like maybe 3 or 4 songs, but no, this ended up being a bit longer than I thought.
That is true. There was way more positivity than I thought there was going to be.
Even though we did some shit talking, but I mean, come on, you kind of
they deserve it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, they do. So
Dude, Jerry Finn mixed the album.
I know, right? Isn't that great? And he did some of
Like,
the backup
even more
vocals too.
Even more like Blink crossover.
Yeah, because what this came out in September of 2001. So Jerry Finn went from doing Toy Page straight into this.
Yeah.
Like literally, he probably went from Toy Page to this, nothing in between. From producing, mixing Toy Page, and then to mixing this and singing backup on I forgot what song, but yeah, it's wild to me how much Jerry Finn was involved in this kind of like era of music, like from like 1998 to 2007 or 2008, that 10-year gap, like what he did for music, like pop punk or just like rock music in general was just so
fucking
important.
Crazy.
It was so important because not only did he just like he worked with bands like from Blink 182 to Tiger Army. He worked on a fucking Tiger Army record. Like those two bands right there, just wildly different. And it's such a shame that he died so young, and because he could have done so many cool things had he not.
Yeah.
Died. Like just imagine, because if he was alive when Blink got back together, they would have gone with Jerry Finn again.
Yeah, I mean, he would have had some things to say too, and
Absolutely.
Blink may not be what they are today.
Yeah, I mean,
like that's
unfortunately, we probably wouldn't have gotten Neighborhoods, because I do love that record, but then we also definitely would not have gotten California or 9. Like that would have been a plus. Like I would.
You'd sacrifice Neighborhoods.
I would sacrifice Neighborhoods and Dogs.
Damn.
I would sacrifice Neighborhoods and Dogs to not have California at 9.
Those are big words.
I know.
Those are big words.
Neighborhoods is my second favorite Blink record, and I'm saying
that's wrong.
Because
okay.
I know like if they worked with Jerry after if they worked with him after Tom had come back, like there could have been some really rad things going on. That could have been better. That might have been better than Neighborhoods. Definitely better than California at 9.
No, you're onto something there for sure.
So I'd be willing to sacrifice that in an alternate universe. But anyway, so let's get into our final thoughts and then our rankings with a 3-point rating system where 3 is a perfect album, 2 is a good album you're going to continue to listen to, maybe even buy the vinyl. 1 is a bad album, but you give it a shot, and 0 is a trash fire. So what do you got?
This is, Man, it's weird because even like this week, I was so torn back and forth as to if I like this or not. And I listened to this like 5 times, I think.
Yeah.
And like the first time, I was like, yeah, this is kind of lame. And then I did the listen through, and I was like, okay, sequencing is a little bit better. And the third and fourth times, it was pretty lame. And then the fifth time is really good. And then talking about it, I think it's really good. So it's weird, man. This is a very bizarre album that I can't quite pinpoint exactly how I feel about it.
Yeah.
But I do like it. It is definitely above a 2. It's probably going to sit right around a 2.4 for me. I don't know if I can go as high as a 2.5.
That's way higher than I thought. That's way
there are
higher.
There are some really good things in this. I mean, there is a lot of like, I like this style of music. There are a lot of things here that I like. This is my shit. And a blend of like the emo stuff that I like, the more melancholy Dashboard and Get Up Kids aspect blended with the more pop punk stuff of this era. Together, it should be a home run. But more often than not with this band, it's just fucking trash and it's just not good. But this is good. This is fine. This is a good album of its time, but it still holds true today. And there's a lot of good parts to it, and I like it. So I'm going to do a 2.4, but I'm going to say, too, that Alkaline Trio still is way overrated. And I don't know why anybody should love this band. This band is a good band that made a couple good records and should be taken as that only.
All right. So my final thoughts on this one. This is, I got into this band super late. Like I said, 2009. And I've always liked this record From Here to the Infirmary. I never thought anything was super great about this album. I've always enjoyed it. I've gone back to it here and there. And then after going through everything, I've learned to appreciate this record a lot more. And also some of the records are pretty damn good. Like My Shame Is True. Great record.
I don't understand that.
But there are some absolute there like I said, there are a couple beyond bangers on this one. They're always on my playlists. So that it's just there's some great moments, but then there's just some like I said, On the Verge of Stinkers being the last 2 songs. And then like you said too, this episode made me kind of rate this album higher than I normally would have. And that's awesome because that's kind of what's cool about the podcast is that we talk about it and then we end up liking shit more than we would have initially thought. And that's cool. So, and that it happens like maybe like once a month or once every several episodes where like I'll think something of a record and then after we talk about it, I like it way more than before. And this is one of those instances. So originally I would have given this record a 2.2, 2.25. But now I boosted this one up to a 2.5.
Dang.
Yeah, so I'm definitely gonna get this record on vinyl. Probably the Record Store Day release, unless it's like
that's
$40.
fucking no. It's $22.99.
Is it really? Okay, definitely gonna get it. So yeah, that's what I got. So I got 2.5 on this one, and it's good stuff. I mean, this is the last Blink related band that we've done. We've done Transplants, we've done Angels and Airwaves, Plus 44, we've done Boxcar. This is the last of the other Blink bands. So that's kind of cool. It took us a long time, but we did it. We finally did it. So
yeah, this one was definitely a long time coming.
I know, and I don't know. I'm surprised we hadn't done it earlier because we even did Simple Creatures. I can't believe we did Simple Creatures before we did this.
I need to re-listen to Simple Creatures because I did hate it when they came out. Then I listened to it after 9 came out, and then I like Simple Creatures more. So I'm wondering if I still think the same way.
You liked
or
it when
if I fucking hate it.
You liked it when we did it on the podcast.
I thought it was funny because it was just like a boy and like his idol hanging out together making music.
It's so embarrassing. Oy. Oy, I hate it. Oh God, it's bad. But you should listen to those EPs because they're bad. So yeah, do we have anything else to say?
No.
All right.
That's
well,
it.
Yeah. So go to Apple Podcasts, go to Podcast Addict, go anywhere where you can rate, review, and subscribe to us. because that's the most important thing. Also, social media at Asinine Radio. Get into that. Keep listening. Thank you all for listening. And yeah, that's it. That's all.
Okay.
And it was exciting. I really liked how exciting.
You're a fucking piece of shit balladman is what you are. I don't understand. This is a joke. Are you joking me right now?
No, I'm not. And Clover.
Oh my god.
Their fifth record.
So My Shame Is True is your second favorite Alkaline Trio album. Because you're a fucking cuck balladman.
It might be. I don't know.
I hope it is. Oh, dude, my head will literally explode if it's your number one album. I don't even know why we're here.
We're here because of the pod. Obviously, we do it. We do it for our fans. We do it for our fan. Come on.
We shouldn't have any fans that really love Alkaline Trio.
Half of our fans just get up and leave.
I know, probably. Dude, this line is so good. I was like my inner 15-year-old emo pop punk kid came out, and I was just like, oh wow, bro, that's so tight. But that's not the line when he says walks with a glass cane.